The reason you're not living the life you want, the reason you're not becoming the person you always wanted, having the career you always wanted, starting that creative project, moving to that city, to that country you always wanted, getting that partner, it's not lack of effort, it's not lack of motivation. It's just that inside of yourself there is misalignment. And that means that your thoughts are going one way, your emotions another way, and your behaviors are trying to compensate for both. And today I want to break down why that is, how to get back into alignment, and how to get back home to yourself, how to truly become that version of yourself who you always want to be in this lifetime. Because I firmly believe we can always become the best, most authentic versions of ourselves. So if you're watching this, I know it's not because you're lazy. I know you're here to learn. I know you came here to break this pattern. If you're in a phase where everything seems unclear, where you cannot fully recognize yourself, you are not where you used to be, where you're not yet where you know you want to be, where your gut tells you you're stepping into, this is for you. Because this video is going to get you back into alignment and back into who you're meant to be in this next phase of your life. And if a part of you keeps wanting more, but another part of you keeps resisting the new life, the new career, the new environment, this video is going to break down what is happening underneath and what can you do about that. So if you're new here, hi, my name is Chrisana. I'm a psychological life coach. Here we speak all about inner work, inner healing, and self-development. If you've been here before, welcome back. And yeah, let's get into the video. So before we dive a bit deeper, I want to share what is underneath all of this. So a lot of women, and you might be asking yourself right now, why do I feel stuck? What is wrong with me? And why I am not becoming the woman I always wanted to be, the woman I know I could be. And here's how I see it. I believe in coming back home to yourself, and this is why I called my brand Coming Back Home to Yourself. This is why I created this. Because in order for us to become the most true authentic version of ourselves, we need to unbecome first. So it's like a tree shedding the leaves that it no longer needs, so it can rebecome and bloom into the spring, into the next most true version of itself. It's leaving behind all of those layers of childhood conditioning, societal conditioning, all of those, unpeeling all of those layers. So with that being said, the reason that you might feel like you're not moving forward with your life, not getting what you want in life, not becoming who you want in your life, is quite simple. It's just not easy because most people don't know how to apply that into their lives. And that can be anything from getting the home of your dreams to getting the career you always wanted, to getting a partner, or even a sense of belonging, anything you can imagine. This is what it's underneath. And this is misalignment between your thoughts, your emotions, and your behaviors. In spirituality, people call this alignment. In psychology, people call it congruence. It's the moment where what you think, what you feel, and what you act on finally match. And the thing is, the truth is, most people don't live in that space. Most people live lives full of misalignment. And this is not about blaming you. This is about creating awareness. Because the first step to change our lives is to create awareness, right? So the more we know about something, the more opportunities we have to evolve through that. So it's not about not being worthy, not being capable, or not being enough. I don't want anybody in my community or who watches my videos to feel this way. The only thing that living in that space of congruence or alignment requires is courage. Because the more you step into alignment between your thoughts, your emotions, and your behaviors, the more you step into something unknown, something uncomfortable for you. And when we step into something uncomfortable, what we need is courage. We don't need the absence of fear. We don't need to not be afraid. In fact, this is the biggest mistake I see in a lot of people who are trying to do something new, who are going through a big life transition. They think that fear means don't step into the next version of yourself. Don't do that. Don't take that risk. When in reality, fear is just an indication, it's just information, it's just data. So it takes courage to live in alignment. And that's why most people don't do that. And if you're watching this video, I'm so proud of you because you are taking the next step into alignment. You are taking that step towards courage, and that takes a lot. So this is all about the courage to actually see what's inside of you, not avoid it, not reject it, not repress it, and actually just sit with it. Again, this is what most of the population will never ever do in their entire lives. So if you're watching this, you are already winning in life because you have this extra information. You know what's going on underneath. The external is just a reflection of what is going on inside ourselves. So the only way to change our lives is to change the internal. I'm not saying don't act. I'm saying take the right action in accordance to your thoughts and feelings and not to your fears or self-doubt or self-sabotage. Some people might call this shadow work. I call this basic inner work because we all need this kind of work in every level of our lives. Anywhere we might be, we need this kind of work. The saying that comes into my mind is new levels, new devils, and that is true in life. This is the foundation of everything because without this kind of work, you cannot move to the next level of your life. You're gonna hit a ceiling. And that happens in everything in life, in your finances, in the quality of your relationships, in your career, in your home, in every area of your life. And like I said, this process is quite simple, but it's not easy. It requires courage. It requires be okay. Learn to be okay. Learn to be okay to be in the uncomfortable space. The way I see it is if there was no fear in life, there was no internal conflict, resistance, what would be the fun in it? And also, there would be no growth, no point in evolving, no point in even doing new things. There would be no human evolution if that was the case. So, if you want to move toward the life you actually want, the work is not to fix yourself, the work is to create inner alignment, inner congruence. So now what can you do about it, the practical stuff? If you're wondering where to start, don't start with your thoughts or emotions. I would actually start with my behaviors. This is why. We need to start with something that is visible to us. We need to start with something that is tangible, because if we start with thoughts or emotions, that's intangible, and yeah, that can be done too. This is not meant to say you cannot start with your thoughts or emotions. It's just to say that it's easier when you start this kind of work to start with your behaviors, because when you start with your behaviors, you can actually change and work with something that is tangible and you can see the results, and that keeps you in this loop of reinforcement and seeing the rewards, and yeah, it keeps you in the game, it keeps you growing and evolving. Because if we are not seeing the results, if the results are not visible to us, chances are we're not going to continue doing this work, so we're going to stay in misalignment, and we don't want that for you, right? We want you to get into the next version of yourself. So the way I like to see behaviors is like having a clue. It's like playing a treasure map game. So let's say, for example, you have in your mind a vision of yourself that is working after her 9-to-5 work towards her creative project. And she's creative. She feels freedom. She feels proud of herself, like working through the career she always wanted. And after your 9-to-5 work, you keep binge watching Netflix. And it's not one day, it's not 2 days, it keeps happening for months, for years even. Even though you know you want a different life, you can feel it in your gut. And I want to invite you, instead of blaming, judging, or criticizing yourself, so instead saying, what's wrong with me? Why do I keep doing that? I want to invite you to pause that and instead to ask yourself, what is that behavior giving me? Because chances are there is a payoff. That behavior might giving you rest, might keeping you stuck in the comfortable space. Even though you don't like your 9 to 5, it's comfortable, it's familiar. So it might keeping you in the known. It might be keeping you in feeling accepted by your social circle, because chances are your circle has also their 9 to 5 jobs, and it's this feeling of wanting to belong to them, this feeling of still wanting to be accepted for having your 9 to 5 job. Because if you pursued the creative project, that would mean you're not gonna be fully accepted. Even though that might not be true, I challenge you to ask yourself, what is this behavior giving me right now in my life? After sitting with that, you can even meditate on that and see what comes up from your intuition. This is a big trick I use so many times, and with my clients too. It can be life-changing. Try that and let me know in the comments what happens. After that, I want you to ask yourself, what is this costing me? What is this behavior of binge watching Netflix costing me? It might be costing you the life you want. It might be costing you money. It might be costing you even trust within yourself. You might be losing trust within yourself and confidence within yourself. Again, sit with that, journal on that, and see what comes up. I promise you there is magic here. And by slowly and steadily starting to peel back the layers, you start understanding yourself more. And by understanding yourself, your psyche more, the aligned action, the aligned behavior starts to feel so much more easy, so much more easeful, starts to feel like, the inevitable for you. You don't even have to check your thoughts or feelings, because after the action, they come without force, they come with ease. So follow the treasure map. See the clues, notice the clues, allow them to lead you, even see yourself as this inner investigator of your psyche, and trust that your psyche, your nervous system, your subconscious mind, everything in you, they know where to take you. They are leading you where you are meant to be. That is all for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments what resonated with you. And if you're going through a big life transition and you want to stop doubting, blaming yourself, criticizing yourself, being in self-doubt and in fear and self-sabotage, I created Metamorphosis for this exact season of your life. I call it the winter season. And through that, we are getting you in a place where you can move with ease, with alignment, with self-trust, with confidence, with self-led action, as I call it. You're gonna have clarity for your next steps without second-guessing yourself. And you're becoming the next version of yourself through that work. I am actually rebranding Metamorphosis right now. I am creating a self-paced course because I couldn't keep in me anymore what things I learned the past 7-8 years through all of my big life transitions. And this is what stays with you for life. So if you're interested in that, if you're interested in becoming the next best, most authentic, true version of yourself, feel free to join. I'm gonna leave the link down below, and I'm gonna see you in the next one.